What's up guys, this is Anime Crossover. I'm back with another episode of What If Naruto Was Trained by the Dragon King of the Sea Part 8. And if you did enjoy this video, give this video a like, and if you're new to my channel and like my content, subscribe and hit that notification bell for more crossover fictions with a twist. Now let's begin this new video.
Chapter 28 Escape. Do you have to do that? Silva asked as Orion continued to make noises with his mouth. Silva had an irritated expression on his face. Orion simply stared at him and repeated the sound. Ah! Silva wanted to attack him, but the bars between them prevented him from doing so. I'm going to make you drink the toilet water. Bring it, Daddy's little girl. As Orion approached, they grabbed each other. They were interrupted by a voice. Would you two please stop fighting? They turned to see a guard with red eyes and black markings. Orion gulped and asked, Itachi. Silva was also nervous. How long were you there? He'd be embarrassed if he'd been there for a long time. Long enough to see that you two are idiots. I expected this from you, Orion, but not from you, Silva, Itachi said, dropping his head in shame. Silva regained his composure. You possessing the guard means you're here in person, right? Silva reasoned that Itachi needed to be nearby to use his version of possession magic. You're surprisingly informative, Silva, but yes, your father has dispatched me to retrieve you too. Itachi's guard approached and unlocked the cells. The guard then closed his eyes and began to bleed till he collapsed. Along with Itachi, Itachi blinked open his eyes and rose from his seat. Guard corpses were strewn along the corridor. Silva understood how my spell worked. How did he get this information? Was he watching me? That doesn't important right now. We need to get away. Itachi moved at inhuman speed. Vault of Weapons, Warden Asuma. The gate guards are dead, and the lacrima vision for Sector 5 has been cut off. A guard saluted Asuma Sarutobi, the prison's commandant. He was smoking a cigarette and blew smoke after putting it out. Asuma Sarutobi was a bearded guy in his early 30s who dressed similarly to the Rune Knights but with a higher rank. Secure the prisoners and sound the alarms. Identify the intruder and go into lockdown. No one gets in or out, Asuma said as everyone saluted and the security measures were activated. I'm pretty sure this is it. I might join you, Kusanagi. Asuma exited the room as the alarms went off. Along with Silva and Orion, looks like the party is about to begin, Orion said as he and Silva reclaimed their guns after dispatching the people defending the vault. When he peered at Silva, he noticed the status of his weapon, a jar filled with liquid metal. How did they even know about your silver ray? They must have been informed by those legal guilds, but it doesn't matter, it just made it easier for me. Silva focused, and silver ray emerged from the jar to take on the form of a blade. Some more pests, please. Silver ray transformed into a weapon that pierced the heads of the approaching guards one by one. No fun messing with weaklings. Perhaps those elite guards of theirs will make a decent warm-up. Orion laughed as he avoided and crushed the skull of a masked man. Speak of the devils, and they appear. He watched 3 more people arrive with masks, 2 female and 1 male. Now, please give me a good fight. Orion maneuvered around one of the females and split her mask without her noticing. The other 2, who had katanas on, attempted to do the same but were also left maskless. Exercise Assassination Classroom Ost Assassination Strategy. Now, from what I've heard, your names are. He began by pointing to the woman with straight hair. He then pointed to the male and said, Yugao Uzuki. He smiled at the last one, Hayate Gekko. Anko Mitarashi, he said, his grin scaring everyone out. Prisoners and guards sure talk a lot, don't they? I suppose you need to satisfy your bloodlust, but please meet us outside, Silva said as he walked away, leaving Orion in front of the 3. Now, I don't think I need Kusanagi for you. Orion stabbed Kusanagi to the ground and cracked his neck. When he witnessed Yugao and Hayate channel air magic into their swords, he smiled. Anko transformed into a green humanoid snake creature by using takeover. A snake. How interesting. He stabbed Kusanagi into the ground and cracked his neck. Now let us fight with our lives on the line. Back with Itachi. End of Ost. Good to see you again, Mr. Asuma, Itachi said as he approached the closing gates to the outside. There were many guards and Asuma himself behind him. Itachi, I wish I could say the same. Asuma grasped trench blades in both hands, channeling magic into them. Last time we met, you were a child. A genius schooled by the red-hot habanero, but still a youngster. Asuma advanced rapidly and went for Itachi's head, and Itachi turned to the side as Asuma's blade scratched the gate. Listen to the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Ost Onigai Kappo. He's channeling wind magic, using it to increase cutting power. That gate is made from iron. Perhaps they should replace it with steel. Itachi dodged more knife strikes until Asuma jumped back as the guards released beams from their spears. Futile. Itachi's eyes became red again and took control of one of the guards, who began shooting at his comrades instead and then rammed into more of them before exploding into flames, taking out half of Asuma's group. One of my men attacked the others? This must be Itachi's doing? Asuma remained calm due to his war experience. The rest of you retreat. It was a mistake to have you here. Deal with the other two fugitives. The men obeyed Asuma, who attacked Itachi, and this time his trench blades emitted blue energy. Crossing wind. Asuma crossed his arms and charged at Itachi, slicing through the iron gates and creating a cross-shaped hole in them. Now that his soldiers have left, he's going all out. I intended to avoid this, but I guess I have no option if I want to end this soon. Itachi drew out a sheathed katana as a dark aura surrounded it for a minute. That katana, I can sense darkness from it. Asuma punched the air and launched a slash, followed by another punch from the other hand, producing a cross slash, but Itachi cut through it instantaneously. That blade sliced through X slash like it was butter. Guess I'll have to rely on close range. Wolf Fang. Asuma swirled into a tornado and fired many slashes that Itachi easily maneuvered through and deflected with his blade a knife blow. Asuma moved considerably faster than previously but was still slow in comparison to Itachi. You specialize in using wind magic to improve the cutting power of your trench knives. Is this due to your inability to hack it as a swordsman? Itachi purposefully wanted Asuma to become frustrated so that he would make a fatal mistake. Instead of wind, Asuma utilized a blazing knife attack, which Itachi cut through, and his blade barely touched Asuma's fist before stopping as Asuma pulled back. End of Ost. Why did he stop? He then spotted black scars on his palm. Wait, the katana, it's Murasama's poisonous blade. The poison spread until it reached his heart, causing it to explode. Shit. Asuma's body dropped. He directed his soldiers to call Kakashi. The man said to be worth 1,000 wizards, Devil Eye Kakashi. He's someone I can't underestimate, Itachi muttered, still waiting for the other two. Those guards who ran from here are dead, Itachi, he said calmly as Enko's head was flung from behind him and rolled in front of Itachi's boots. You give out too much bloodlust, Orion, Silva said nonchalantly as Orion emerged from the halls. I can't help it, I'm still hungry for more. Orion's tongue was reptilian in nature, writhing like a snake's, and Itachi was losing patience, speaking in his typical stoic tone, but with some displeasure behind it. We don't have time for games. Silva, did you kill them all on your way here? Itachi demanded once, and Silva quickly responded. Yes, and I took the liberty of looking after the emergency riot squad. They have 3 wizards who use teleportation magic to summon one of the wizard saints, the most recurring of which is Kakashi Hatake. But I'm betting you already know, Itachi. Silva's explanation was correct, but Orion didn't care. How did you get wind of them, Silva? Itachi was intrigued. Silva explained that Asuma told them about the jail and how it was one of several prisons owned by the Magical Council. Asuma also told them that escape was very difficult for inmates. Lord Riku is waiting. Itachi followed the two with his extraordinary movement until they arrived to a flying ship. You brought this old junk with you. For the first time, Orion had a nervous face, which Silva mirrored. Yes, and I intend to fly it, Itachi said, causing them both to loo at each other before fleeing, but they were grabbed by Itachi, who pulled them both to the unstable-looking flying vehicle. We escaped from the safety of prison just to die in this death trap. I'm sorry for bothering you over there, Silva, Orion said, tears welling up in the corners of his eyes, and Silva mimicked him. I forgive you, and I also apologize. Both sat at the back of the spacecraft as Itachi lifted off, irritated by their comments about his flying. The ship flew off quickly, as 2 screams could be heard from the ground. Along with S-Death, shit. She didn't attack me because she knew I wouldn't let my guard down. She killed my pet without alerting me. S-Death touched her wyvern and then gave a dark smile. I knew it was too easy. I hope this time you can give me more of a battle. S-Death surrounded her limbs with ice and took flight, hoping to find Urza in the air. I need to get back to the guild. Everyone must be worried, Urza said as her wyvern's mouth opened to reveal her. I need to get back to the guild. Everyone must be worried. Urza wasn't totally healed but was better than before and made haste towards where S-Death went. Along with Riku. I didn't expect this. Perhaps I should have left Orochimaru alive. Despite his quirks, his mind was brilliant. Riku thought amusingly as he stared down at the scene below him. Kisame was a little bruised and had some blood dripping from his mouth. The creature was humanoid, red and black in color, sharp teeth, white menacing eyes, and sharp claws. Zabuza's power-up certainly made him frightening. Imagine the devastation he'll unleash. Kisame grinned as he wiped the sweat from his brow. Carnage. Kisame, I admire the way you think. Such remarkable recovery ability. Dark explosion usually destroys enemies, and even if I used a weaker version of it, it should have been enough to knock him out for a day or two. Riku then dodged Zabuza's claws and went to Kisami's side. I'm actually a little vexed. In Myra's company, Mira, why are we staring through this forest? Shouldn't we just keep going and stick to the map? Naruto questioned the decision of that lovely barmaid. Normally, sure, but according to Natsu, he picked up a weird fragrance near here when looking for food. It's probable that her injuries might benefit from rest so that they could heal. We avoid the risk of facing more of them if we can find Urza before they reach her base, Mira replied, and her logic made sense to the more rational members. While Naruto and Natsu wanted to fight stronger foes, they understood that saving their friend came first, and they continued as Naruto smelled the scent. This smells exactly like S-Death's. Naruto confirmed the aroma, then noticed it was becoming stronger. That woman, I can pick up her scent getting closer and stronger this time, Naruto said to his squad, ready to move when Mira spoke up. Did you pick up on Urza's scent as well? She believed it was too easy, and that if Urza was actually caught by her, there was a potential that she had left Urza bound somewhere. When Naruto shook his head, followed by the other two dragon slayers, she decided the course of action. Then hide, we should avoid a battle until we recover Urza. I know you all want to find her, but the last thing we need right now is a battle, Mira said, taking authority for the time being. She's right, Gray agreed. Our mission is to save Urza. The opponent is stubborn and will not tell us even if we defeat her. Right now, we should stick with Myra's plan. Don't forget about her trump card, which I informed you about. They all remembered, according to Gray, that she froze time. We'd better hurry, because she's closing in, Naruto told them as they fled, some more frustrated than others, particularly the two male dragon slayers. Naruto then realized something. Where's Kurama? It was too late as S-Death flew past them, most likely spotting their magical vehicle and, knowing Kurama's sleeping tendencies, Kurama himself. Kurama is still standing near the automobile. Everyone's eyes widened in amusement at Naruto's scream. Naruto, don't you dare do something. Myra's statement was cut short when Naruto ran back to their truck. When she said the last syllable, a little bit of the old Mira seeped out. Who did something idiotic? A familiar voice jolted them out of their daze and made them turn to see who they were trying to save. Erza. They all sprang at her, surprising her, and Mira proceeded to explain that Naruto was most definitely heading towards danger because there was a good chance S-Death would be there. Then we should stop him. Urza still had some bruises, so Wendy offered to heal her, but the redhead declined, saying that stopping Naruto was their priority, and they all followed Naruto's lead. Returning to Itachi's gang, Lord Riku, I have retrieved the two, and I will arrive in a day or two, Itachi stated to Riku, which thrilled the Demon Blade's leader, as the screen in front of him revealed Riku's face. Excellent. Are you piloting your ship? When Itachi nodded at Riku's comments, he said, I see, please drive cautiously. Riku sounded serious as usual, but he also felt sympathy for the two passengers. Why does everyone detest my driving? Itachi was irritated, as Silva and Orion were already unconscious due to Itachi's reckless driving and close calls. I have one more request for you, Itachi. I gave S-Death a tracker so you could find her. The screen changed to a tracker. Tell her that she doesn't need Titania, because I now have something better. Along with S-Death, a magical vehicle, could it belong to those fairy tale wizards? S-Death landed and undid her ice, checking the vehicle out and feeling a chill down her spine, as if a demon was behind her. What? S-Death jumped away as the creature she assumed to be a demon was actually Kurama. That mark, it belongs to Fairy Tail. She was looking at Kurama's black guild mark on his chest. You must be S-Death, the woman Gray mentioned, Kurama said, smiling. You came to me, saving me the trouble of looking for you. You're no longer a fox. Your power, even if only for a second, is that of a demon. S-Death then grins, her bloodlust alerting Kurama that she was not to be underestimated. Look who's talking. You may appear human, but you don't appear to be one. Would you mind explaining? Kurama just widened S-Death's grin. Sure, if you can beat me, but don't expect mercy from me. She then took out her rapier. I'm happy I brought a backup sword, if only to test this fox's toughness. Go on, shift to your true form, or is the sad shape really what you look like? S-Death prodded Kurama, who remained silent. If it was in my true form, then all of you demon blades would know the true meaning of demon. Kurama's body shone with a red aura, his magic power felt by the forest behind S-Death and S-Death herself. Along with Naruto, in his haste, Naruto did not employ Dragon Jet and was soon joined by the others, who all felt Kurama's power. This power, it's just like Zero, no bigger. This strength is like that wolf, but more dangerous. Natsu thinks similarly to Naruto, while Urza recalls fighting Orion in his monster form. Returning with S-Death and Kurama, amazing. S-Death looked at Kurama in his new form, which stood at 7 feet tall and was now humanoid. He had the same build as Laxus, wore the same type of pants as Natsu, and his fingernails were sharp. His feet were still paws from before but bigger. His guild mark was still over his chest, and he wore a gold collar around his neck. Allow me to demonstrate my true power. Kurama and S-Death raced toward one another. Kurama's true strength, listen to the Dragon Ball Super the power to resist. S-Death hurled a massive ice ball towards Kurama, who simply smashed through it with his fist. This time, she hurled hundreds of shards at him, only for Kurama to punch them all at once. O-R-A-O-R-A-O-R-A-O-R-A-O-R-A-O-R-A-O-R-A, yelled Kurama as his punches continued to land. S-Death kept her sneer because she had a plan. What the hell? Kurama's hands had been frozen. She boosted the intensity of her ice and made it such that contact with her ice caused it to spread to my body. Kurama then had a calm red aura surround him, which melted the ice upon touch and allowed him to dodge S-Death's sword attacks. That was a good plan, too bad it won't do you much good against me. Spare me the bravado, as soon as I break you, you'll beg for death. I have to take this one seriously right away. I underestimated the other two, so holding back isn't really an option. Spare me the bravado, as soon as I break you, you'll beg for death. This time, she was channeling her ice magic into her rapier and moving at breakneck speed. She moves quickly and precisely. She's as fast as, if not faster than, Urza. If she was up against anyone else, her fighting ability would be feared. Kurama leapt as S-Death attempted to stab, instead hitting the ground. Kurama then realized that the ground had begun to freeze in the same way that his hands had. I told her that wasn't going to work on me. Futile. S-Death fashioned a second sword out of ice and resumed swinging, generating additional ice shards in the process. Took the words right out of my mouth, ice bitch. Kurama's aura surrounded his body and unleashed a scorching shockwave that instantly annihilated. Fists of Fury. Kurama's assault of fists forced S-Death to defend himself. Aura. Kurama looked to deliver a blow on her midsection, but he employed her homemade ice blade to deflect and absorb the blow. The icicle shattered, sending S-Death soaring. Kurama pursued her and attempted a hard right on her when she landed. Kurama. Naruto and the others approached Kurama in his new form. Naruto and the others were perplexed when they saw a humanoid fox monster. End of Ost. Huh. Kurama turned and let his gaze wander for a split second, realizing too late that he was still in a combat. Crap. Kurama grabbed S-Death's rapier with his right hand and leapt away as his was slashed. You stupid idiot, shouted Kurama at Naruto. Wait, Kurama. Naruto exclaimed, which astonished everyone in their group, including himself. You're jacked, Naruto exclaimed, which irritated Kurama, who was dodging another sword attack from S-Death. That's what you're taking away from this. Kurama felt a chill crawl from his hand to his forearm. Shit. She intended to freeze me from the inside out. As the ice passed through Kurama's arm, his veins became frozen from the inside. Kurama dug into his arm with his other hand's sharp nails before focusing his aura and heating up his arm, melting the ice trail. Kurama jumped over S-Death and grabbed the truck. Hey, morons, he drew the group's attention. Catch, he yelled, with Natsu catching it, if surprised, and the others moving out of the way. Hey. Natsu stomped backwards towards the fox, but was protected by Kurama as S-Death attempted to attack Natsu with her weapon. Kurama had kicked Natsu in the direction of Urza. All of you get out of here. The point of this mission was to get Urza back, right? Then take the car and get the hell out of here. Kurama channeled his aura into his left palm and fired a red beam at the massive pillar S-Death had built to crush them. The laser had completely shattered the pillar. Kurama had clapped his hands before opening them into a triangle shape and firing a powerful blast that would have hit S-Death square in the face if she hadn't swiftly formed a big ice shield. It reduced the damage because she was still injured by the impact of the attack and launched a long distance away from the group. That was so cool, Naruto exclaimed as he appeared to teleport in front of the anthropomorphic fox, scaring Kurama for a split second. Naruto began to ask questions but was cut off by Kurama. I'll answer them as soon as you guys get out of here. That attack didn't take her out. She defended herself and it only scratched her, Kurama assured them. But you can't face her alone. She's too powerful to fight alone, Urza said in response to Kurama's idea. We can take her Tog. She was cut off by Kurama. Stop being so arrogant. Kurama yelled angrily at the redhead, not looking back. Urza cringed slightly at his tone, which reminded her of Master Makarov scolding her. We all put ourselves in danger to come rescue you. The least you can do is let me pull my weight for once and fight so that we can all go home together, Kurama said, as Naruto and Natsu poked the fox. What are you fools doing? At least making sure you're not some illusion or a fake, Kurama, Naruto said in a bewildered tone that irritated Kurama as Natsu agreed with him. Naruto then smirked with Natsu before Kurama could yell. I knew you cared, you're a fairy tale wizard after all, Kurama said, a little agitated. I just don't want the old geezer to complain about you guys dying, Kurama explained, turning around to hide his smile. Urza then grinned, followed by the others, even Carla, who is normally chilly. We can leave it to you, right? Urza inquired as the anthropomorphic fox nodded before Esdeath reappeared with a big ice footing and numerous human-sized icicles. Naruto, Gray, and Natsu each launched their own assaults in response. You can leave it to me. Get in the car. They all did so, but Naruto and Natsu were hesitant at first, but Urza forced them to. Mira tried to flee, but Esdeath wouldn't let her. Oh no you don't. Kurama sprung into action, sending a finger ray at her, breaking a portion of her footing and preventing her from striking them. Kurama faced the Ice Queen, who smiled at his might. You fairy tale wizards are pretty tough. Are all of you like this? She paused her assault and smiled. If you mean if we're all this powerful, no, there are others who are even stronger. Urza may have lost to you earlier, but she and the others are still growing and will one day be so strong that even those who call themselves the 10 strongest wizards on this continent will be blown away, Kurama said passionately, cracking his neck to the side. Listen to the Dragon Ball Super Os, the power to resist. Is that so? Then I look forward to crushing that hope of yours and extinguishing their flames. Esdeath appeared to Kurama to be a demon as the fox recalled a key piece of information from Gray. She froze time, Gray claims. Be careful with that ability of hers, then. Kurama charged the Ice Queen, only for her to nearly cut off his head. Kurama delivered a powerful kick, but Esdeath countered with an ice-enhanced kick of her own. This created a shockwave, sending both warriors flying in opposing directions. His physical power is stronger than mine. He almost broke my rib if I hadn't softened the impact at the last second by making an ice cushion. Esdeath was bruised from Kurama's previous several attacks. Kurama then used his red aura to keep her ice from taking over his body. He can manipulate heat, but it's not quite fire magic. She then surrounded herself with ice, which transformed into a massive armor for her. She sacrificed her speed and agility for defense while keeping her assault power intact. If Gray was present, he could easily counter her technique. Kurama then focused and was engulfed by aura once more, but this time it was mild and stable. My burning shroud surrounds my body in aura, acting as armor while also increasing my strength. Add to it the fact that I can convert my aura to mimic the attributes of fire, which is a lethal combo against ice users like her. When the opportunity occurs, I may terminate this with Mahapama. After that, I'll recapture Scarlet and slaughter her companions in front of her. Esdeath then waited for Kurama to attack her, which he did. Along with Naruto's group, you better not die, you dumb fox, Naruto thought to himself as he struggled with motion nausea. Wendy took his hand as they all walked to Magnolia. Don't worry, Naruto. I'm sure he'll be fine. He is your partner after all. Wendy smiled at him just before the vehicle abruptly stopped, forcing them all to collide. What's going on, Mira? Lucy said of the barmaid, who pointed ahead of them. Makarov is pictured with Anastasia and Ostrova. Master. She and the others were surprised to see him so soon and were curious about the other two. Those two are wizard saints, Naruto exclaimed, struggling to recover from motion nausea. Except for the motion-sick Natsu, the others screamed in surprise. You brats had me worried, Makarov exclaimed, relieved but yet angry at their behavior. Returning with Kurama and Esdeath, Kurama slammed a tremendous left fist through Esdeath's ice giant, but Esdeath had already fled and generated gigantic icicles, which Kurama promptly melted. He and Esdeath began to spar, this time landing real blows on each other. Fall. Kurama stomped his left foot, releasing a beam from the ground that struck Esdeath, but she rebounded and froze the ground to freeze Kurama. Kurama's aura shroud was able to withstand the effect, causing his body to emit a shockwave. I can finish this in one hit. When Kurama concentrated, his aura became denser and more wild. He was preparing to cast a tremendous magic. Kurama clasped his hands together and gripped them fiercely. He fired a powerful beam. Oh no you don't. Esdeath worked hard to erect a configuration of gigantic pillars, but the beam defeated her defenses, forcing her to use her trump card, Mahapama. End of Ost. Now, to end this. Esdeath barely avoided the beam, which was moving a little slower than usual due to her ice pillars. My ice pillars instantaneously freeze individuals who come into contact with them, which should have weakened the attack. It worked, but the spell must still be too hot for Mahapama to have any impact. She then observed Kurama staring at her, still shrouded but moving slower than normal. I blew my chance, she admitted, but instead of feeling defeated, she smiled. I haven't used this form in a long time. I need to retrain myself, he realized as he realized Esdeath's ultimate strength. If she was at full strength, I might not have been as lucky as I was today. Kurama's shroud vanished and he breathed heavily, as did Esdeath. You are quite strong. I recognize you as a warrior and worthy opponent. She was about to continue the fight when both combatants heard a disturbance and looked about for the source, which was in the air. Itachi's squad arrived, but the ship would have crash-landed near them if Itachi hadn't made a last-minute maneuver. She laughed as Itachi emerged, but the other two remained inside, dazed by Itachi's flying abilities. He's one of the demon blades. That must imply they're all. Kurama's eyes widened as he realized he wouldn't be able to combat them all. How did you find me and how did you know where I was? Esdeath inquired, as Itachi brushed himself off before responding. Lord Riku will explain. Your mission to capture Urza Scarlet has been postponed. For the time being, we are to return to base. Itachi was direct, and while this irritated Esdeath, she complied. Itachi returned his attention to Esdeath after noticing Kurama. There isn't time for you to have fun. I will finish this fight for you. I don't think so. A voice in the distance called out, and Makarov and the others approached. Itachi recognized three of them. Esdeath, create a barrier and get in the ship. Now, Itachi ordered, but Esdeath understood they were at a disadvantage and obeyed. Master Makarov! Exclaimed Kurama as the old man destroyed the barrier with his light magic. Itachi, on the other hand, took off right away, escaping before a new combat could begin. The old man complimented Kurama for returning to his normal form. I don't know how you did it, but you managed to keep Master from punishing us. Thank you, Urza said, pulling her face closer to Myris and whispering. How did you do it? Mira asked, her face flushed with embarrassment. I did him a favor and gave him a magazine that me and my friends posed for. Mira blushed, and Urza understood, which explained his twisted giggles. I did it so he wouldn't have to punish Lucy, Wendy, or Juvia, but Gray already got his punishment, and he still plans to punish Naruto and Natsu later. I feel sorry for them, Naruto and Natsu overheard. That's unfair! Exclaimed both male dragon slayers at the same time. This reminded Urza and Mira of their improved hearing. Suddenly, the massive bell tower began to ring, alerting the guild, minus the newer members. Naruto and Natsu were the first to arrive at the windows, followed by the cats and the newest members. They noticed the houses shifting and the formation of a pathway. Gildarts is here, Natsu exclaimed, and everyone else seemed to be as well, though Lucy had to inquire who Gildarts was. Gildarts is the strongest wizard in Fairy Tail, stronger than Laxus and even Gramps. The newer members were astonished to learn, though Gajeel appeared to be looking forward to facing Gildarts. But that doesn't explain why the town is moving and making a path. Wendy was perplexed until Naruto responded. It's called the Gildarts shift. See, Gildarts uses a powerful magic known as Crush. The problem is that Crush is destructive and destroys things upon contact, making it difficult to control. They created the Gildarts shift to make sure that he doesn't destroy any buildings on the way here. I suppose I remember hearing about him. They were rumors though. What type of man can't keep himself in check like that? Lucy then caught her own thoughts, wondering of the constant harm Fairy Tail produces. Wow, someone that powerful really exists in Fairy Tail, Wendy conceded, while Naruto reassured her. Don't worry, he's friendly, but I'd be cautious around him if I were you. He's, well. Gray stated bluntly for Naruto. He's a perv. Gray was already in his boxers, as Naruto pointed out, prompting him to sprint about the guild hunting for his clothing. Says the nudist, Naruto observed, recalling a couple occasions when Gray had no boxers on. But, yeah, say hello to him, but keep your distance. If he tries something, kick him in the balls, Naruto replied, making them all sweat and Wendy chuckle nervously. Along with Riku's group. I hope you two have learned your lesson. Dishonoring the Demon Blade's name is not something I recommend, Riku said, looking down at the battered forms of Orion and Silva. We understand, Silva said, gritting his teeth, followed by Orion. He smirked at their response. Does this man claim to be my father? Silva questioned his parentage and wanted to yell in rage, but he restrained himself. Good, because we have a meeting in 3 hours. Make sure you're back here in 3 hours, that'll give you two enough time to rest up, because this will be the Demon Blade's final meeting, said the Demon Blade's leader, leaving them to ponder their thoughts. Riku walked along the hall and came to a halt. Itachi emerged from the shadows when Riku stated, "You've gotten sloppy, Itachi. I heard you held back a lot at that prison, a lot." You can control several people at once with your possession magic, and even if Asuma Sarutobi was the warden, you could have easily taken him out. So, tell me something? Why hold back? I simply wanted to test their strength and give them false hope so that they could fight me with everything they had. Itachi was lying, but his facial features, posture, and thinking were so in sync that it would be difficult to tell. You still think you can fool me? Amusing. If that's your answer, then I know the perfect people to put your abilities to the test. Riku began to walk away. Those brats in Fairy Tail, they caused trouble for the others, but I want to see how they fare against you, Itachi said flatly. Of course, that is your choice, and I wouldn't recommend it since their ace is said to be returning. That elicited a response from Itachi, who began to sweat on the left side of his face. That man has reappeared. He's one of the two people I don't want to confront, the other being you. Itachi glanced at Riku's receding shape. He's up to something, and even with Murasama, I'm afraid I can't stop him. Returning with Fairy Tail. This is it, Naruto, get the tools ready. Makarov instructed the Fairy Tail's fastest wizard, who donned a construction suit and carried brick building tools. Master, what are you two doing? Lucy questioned, sweat streaming down her cheeks and a terrified look on her lips. Sometimes Gildarts has a habit of. The wall was destroyed and Gildart's Clive emerged. Destroying walls. Naruto, please fix the wall. Naruto did so and immediately fixed it. All done, boss, exclaimed Naruto. Gildarts took advantage of the moment to look around and then noticed Naruto remove his helmet. Naruto, that you? Gildarts immediately recognized Naruto and put him in a headlock. Look at how much you've grown. You're no longer a midget. Gildarts laughed as the guild grew raucous again, letting Naruto go and reacquainting himself with his fellow guild members. Welcome back, Gildarts. Mira bowed, and Gildarts didn't recognize her until she said her name. To say the least, Gildarts was taken aback by her new personality, but he was still glad to see her and the others. I see old and new faces, but I gotta say, it's good to be back. He then intercepted Natsu's flame-enhanced fist and threw him to the roof. Natsu smiled instead of frowning, eager to combat Gildarts. What's Natsu doing? Juvia asked Gray, who was standing next to her and began stripping. This is how they greet each other. See, Natsu used to challenge Gildarts a lot and now that's how they greet each other. Gray was back in boxers, which Gildarts observed. Yo, Gray. Still got that stripping habit, Makarov said to Gildarts, who had a serious expression on his face. Welcome back, Gildarts, the old guy said before getting right to the point. How was the mission? Gildarts laughed till he said something no one in the guild could believe. I was no good. I failed, the guild murmured, no one more astonished than Natsu's generation. I see, as long as you're alive and well, I can't complain. Get some rest, it's good to have you back, Makarov remarked with a straight face before breaking into a grin. Bring out the booze. The mood shifted as Fairy Tail began to celebrate. Gildarts eventually chose to return home and recuperate. He'd previously met the newer members and noted Naruto's protectiveness of Wendy. He's quite possessive of her. Has he moved on from Lee Senna? Natsu and Lee Senna got together. I guess I'll ask about it when I get home. Natsu, Naruto, the two boys looked at him. Drop by my house later on. I have something I need to tell you too. Gildarts grabbed up his duffel bag and broke the wall again instead of utilizing the entrance. Use the damn door. Makarov exclaimed, then sighed. He may be a touch laid back, but he is the only one who can take over as guild master right now. He then witnessed Natsu and Naruto imitate Gildarts and knock through the walls. Damn you artists. Kurama and Happy trailed their Dragon Slayer friends. With the help of the two Dragon Slayers, what do you think Gildarts wants, Natsu? Naruto inquired of the fire user, who shook his head. The two Dragon Slayers had already arrived in front of Gildarts' residence. Hey Gildarts. Natsu yanked the door open, only to see a sleepy Gildarts greeting both Dragon Slayers. He's napping. Natsu was clearly disappointed. Happy simply sighed, and a smile followed. He has the right idea, yawned Kurama, before joining Fairy Tail's strongest wizard in the Kingdom of Dreams. I saw that coming from a mile away, Naruto said. This reminded the two Dragon Slayers of the time they met Fairy Tail's strongest wizard. Naruto's story, 6 years ago. What the hell is going on? Why is the town changing? Naruto asked Makarov, who was chugging a large mug of ale. It's called the Gildarts shift, and it was only thought of 2 years ago to stop Gildarts from destroying the town, Makarov simply stated to the teenager. Who's Gildarts? Naruto was replied by the most unlikely of people. The strongest man in Fairy Tail, at least until I become S-class and dethrone him, Laxus said, his bag thrown over his shoulder. Naruto was overjoyed to see Laxus. Big bro. Naruto called out to the taller man, who tousled his hair and smiled back. Yo. Did you get taller? Laxus asked the younger blonde, smiling. Naruto was like his younger brother. Where's Natsu? Laxus said of the blonde, who huffed angrily and turned away. Oh, right, you don't like him. Wakaba whispered to Laxus, who understood, he's gone off to some forest with Happy and Lisana. The kid's a little jealous. Laxus noticed Naruto's downcast expression. How about I show you a cool lightning spell? After I introduce you to Gildarts, that is. Naruto was ecstatic. The doors were obliterated instantaneously, frightening the members as Gildarts walked in. Yo, he said nonchalantly, his grin reminding Naruto of himself and even Natsu. Naruto had to open his lips as he took in the man's appearance. Who's the old fart? Said Naruto, causing Gildarts to turn absolutely white. Apart from Kana, Elfman, Levi, and the mortified Urza, Makarov, Laxus, and the others chuckled. Naruto, that's impolite. Don't you know that this old fart? I mean man is Gildarts? Urza tried to stop herself from calling Gildarts an old fart, but he heard it, as did the others, who laughed again at the expense of the strongest wizard. He's the strongest wizard in fairy tale. Naruto exclaimed, widening his eyes and pointing at the man in surprise. Gildarts smiled, assuming Naruto would realize his error and apologize. But he looks like an old fart. Gildarts' grin was wiped away, replaced with a funny despair. That could be so, Makarov said, his laughing cut short by a look from Gildarts. But he is the guild's strongest wizard, Naruto confirmed, greeting the strongest wizard. Sorry, my mistake. My name is Naruto, nice to meet you Gildarts, Naruto apologized, but was welcomed with a fist bump on the top of the head from Urza. Ouch, what was that for? That's for disrespecting Gildarts and not addressing him properly. She chastised the blonde, but Gildarts only chuckled and approached them. It's okay, he didn't mean any harm, Gildarts said, ruffling the blonde's hair. Nice to meet you, brat, I know we just met, but I feel like I've known you for much longer. Really? How so? Naruto was taken aback by Gildarts' statements. Just a feeling. You remind me of some people I knew, Gildarts said before approaching the master and greeting him. Urza was scolding Naruto once more. Return to the present. Then I discovered he was friends with my parents and that they were fairy tale members. Gildarts was always there for Naruto and Natsu remembered how Gildarts assisted him, Happy, and Lisana out in the forest before revealing himself to be fairy tale's strongest. Huh. Gildarts blinked his eyes open. Oh, you came. Sorry, I didn't get much sleep last night and decided to take a short nap. How come you didn't sleep well? You usually sleep like Kurama on a good day, Naruto observed as the orange-haired guy rubbed his head. I was being hunted by some women who I accidentally peeped on, Gildarts explained to the other persons in the room. We're dense, but not that dense, Natsu said, looking down with funny tears before regaining his composure. So, what did you want to talk to us about? Natsu and Naruto were both ecstatic. Never mind that for now. How's little Lisana? You two done fighting over her? Gildarts had no idea that he had struck a nerve with the two dragon slayers. Come on, I know you two had a thing for her. Natsu cut him off. She died 2 years ago, Natsu stated flatly, and Naruto matched his expression. Gildarts was taken aback and experienced glimpses of the deceased girl's innocent grin. What? She's dead, Gildarts said, placing his palm on his chin. I see, that's why Mira. They knew what he meant. Mira used to be a different person, but the death of her little sister changed her. If that's all you wanted to say, we're better off going home, Naruto remarked, and the two began to walk away when Gildarts' tone changed and he spoke one specific phrase. The reason I wanted to talk to you guys is because I saw a dragon, Gildarts said solemnly, but before they could inquire about their dragon parents. It wasn't either of your dragons, it was a black one, Gildarts assured them. A black dragon? Where? Natsu inquired, and Naruto concurred. Sacred Mount Zonia, he's the real reason I failed my quest, Natsu said before departing. And where exactly do you think you're going? Isn't it obvious? I'm going to find that dragon and ask him if he's seen Igneal or any of the other dragons. Natsu's thoughts were interrupted by Gildarts' statements, who astonished everyone, except the sleeping Kurama, by displaying his injuries and mechanical limbs. It was over in the blink of an eye, took my arm and leg, and messed up some of my organs, he groaned. Whatever that dragon was, it was no human friend, and even if you had a good nose, it's long gone. I'm a dragon slayer. Even if it's a bad guy, dragon slayer magic is called that for a reason. Natsu didn't want to hear any more as he hurried away, Happy attempting to follow beside Naruto. He gained their attention by saying, Naruto, Happy. Make sure he's alright. Happy, you support him, and Naruto, you knock some sense into him if he loses his way. Maybe no human can take that black dragon down, but maybe other dragons can. You got that, Naruto? Naruto nodded and raced off with Happy. You met him? Gildarts asked, seeing Kurama awake. Kurama stated, the dragon of the apocalypse, Acknowledgia. Yeah, and let me tell you, I've fought a lot of nasty things, but that thing was the most evil and vile creature I've ever faced, and right now, they need to get stronger, stronger than even me, Gildarts admitted bluntly. And you, Naruto's dragon, entrusted Naruto to you. I know the master is aware, and I'm no fool. Your demonic powers are required. Can I rely on you? Kurama nodded in a rare case. What did Mr. Gildarts want from you? Wendy didn't like being nosy, but she was interested in what Fairy Tail's strongest wanted from the first two dragon slayers. As they proceeded to get some food bags, Naruto assisted the young woman with her bags. She then had an odd thought in her thoughts. He didn't get you dirty magazines, did he? This made Naruto laugh. What? Naruto got back on his feet. No. Why would you think that? Naruto flushed at the inference. Because you told me he was a pervert, I assumed he would give you something like that. Wendy then moved her head to the side, making her appear cute to Naruto. She returned her gaze and bowed. I'm sorry. She only made Naruto more uneasy, until he realized what she was saying and began to giggle. Actually, you might have a point, I wouldn't put it past the old man to do something like that. Naruto's laughing was contagious, and Wendy soon joined in. Ahem. The two stopped laughing and turned to face Carla. I was wondering where you ran away to, but it turns out you were with this ruffian, she said, glaring at Naruto. Keep your hands to yourself, you pervert. It's not like that. Naruto was just helping me with the groceries, Wendy exclaimed as the two reddened at Carla's accusation. Before they could continue, they heard shouting from a familiar voice. Naruto's nickname for Gajeel, that voice, Iron Man's voice, made the female wizard and female cat sweat. Naruto, I believe that name is already taken. Naruto bolted before Wendy could complete her sentence. Wendy sighed and followed him, accompanied by a hesitant Carla. Iron Maw. What the hell is going on? Naruto asked as he noticed Gajeel on the floor, scratch scars all over his face. I just want my own buddy. The girl has one, Salamander has one, and even the blonde idiot has a nine-tailed fox. Gajeel exclaimed, laughing. Even if he only labeled him a blonde moron, Naruto felt sorry for him. Wendy and Carla arrived to observe Gajeel's condition and inquired what occurred as Gajeel slowly stood up, still downcast. He wanted a cat like you and Natsu, even got jealous that I have Kurama, Naruto said as Wendy concurred. Doesn't know how bad Kurama really is. This caused Wendy to trip up with her feline companion, barely keeping their equilibrium and saving themselves from falling. Wendy grinned as the blonde male placed his hand on the Iron Dragon Slayer's shoulder. He's a kind person, Naruto said, offering to buy Gajeel a drink. Surprisingly, Gajeel accepted his offer. From what I've heard, Gajeel usually fights with Naruto or Natsu. Hey Wendy, Carla, drinks on me. Naruto jolted Wendy out of her reverie with a smile, which she returned. In collaboration with Makarov and Gildarts, I didn't realize there was another basement beneath our basement. Where are you taking me, master? Gildarts inquired of the diminutive man, who maintained a solemn demeanor. This location is only known to the previous guild masters and one of the founding members. Makarov came to a halt and turned to face the most powerful wizard. This is the location that holds Fairy Tail's darkest secret. Wait. Gildarts remembered hearing someone say something similar. Ivan said the same thing before he was kicked. What he was looking for, that's what you want to show me, right? He responded with a hesitant nod. Why do you want to tell me? I'm usually bad with secrets, groaned Gildarts. Because after the S-class trials, I intend to name you my successor, Makarov stated solemnly, demonstrating that he was not joking. Gildarts was taken aback by the statement. Master, please tell me you're kidding. Gildarts believed he was unworthy of the position of guild master and was not the kind to lead the guild. You are the only one I can rely on, it has to be you. Gildarts was unsure, so he tried a different approach. What about Laxus? He actually wants the title, you know he's been excommunicated from the guild. Makarov stunned Gildarts. Makarov recounted what happened in full before Gildarts could ask why, and Gildarts understood despite his personal sentiments on the subject. I see now, master, it may have been harsh, but Laxus had crossed a line, he smirked. You do, and when I become master, I'll reinstate him to the guild, Makarov said, sighing because, despite Laxus's methods, he wanted what was best for Fairy Tail. When you become guild master, do as you wish. For now, keep walking. The sooner I show you what we came for, the sooner you can go back drinking. Makarov was about to continue forward, followed by Gildarts. They ended themselves in front of the entryway. I warn you, Gildarts, this secret is not to be revealed at any cost, and you are not to tell a soul. Gildarts accepted with a nod. Gildarts began to sweat as a glow surrounded them. This is. Gildarts cried in astonishment and awe as he stared down what was in front of them, unable to find the words to express his feelings. Yes, fairy tale's darkest secret, the lumen histoire, Makarov remarked wisely. Along with Mistogen. Mistogen sat atop a tree, sheltering himself from the rain with its enormous leaves. He pulled away his mask to expose Jalal's serious thought before biting into his apple. Urza and Natsu observed my expression, and Laxus was well aware of my identification. He clutched the staff in the other hand. The portals are arriving more frequently today, and they are becoming more daring. They used to steal little quantities from Earthland, but now they're taking far more. Mistogen leapt from the tree, surprised to find the black wizards who had surrounded him. You're on our turf. This forest belongs to the Sharkfang. They were all armed. Give us all your valuables, and we'll let you live, the leader boasted, only to flinch in the face of Mistogen's icy gaze. Sharkfang. I've heard of you people. Thieves and murderers, scum. Mistogen glowed with magical power as the dark wizards trembled. I am Mistogen of Fairy Tale, and I shall deliver justice. Mistogen's other staves dug further into the dirt. The battle was brief, and a pillar of light was sent into the heavens, signaling Bloody Mist's defeat. Mistogen triumphed and proceeded to bind the fallen rogues before transporting them to a town to be handed over to the local authorities. Returning with Gildarts and Makarov. Now you understand why only the guild master may come here. Makarov's eyes were closed, his arms crossed. Gildarts kept a solemn expression on his face and nodded. Understood. Any more surprises for me today? Because I think I had enough after finding out about this in Lysana. The last statement didn't surprise Makarov, who knew Gildarts would ultimately figure it out. There is one more thing, Makarov said, causing Gildarts to shout in amusement. I was only half joking. Gildarts then sighed and calmed down. What exactly is it? When Makarov opened his eyes, sweat was streaming down the side of his face. A short time ago, Natsu faced a Demon Blades member named Silva Uzumaki. Makarov noticed Gildarts was perplexed. I have the same surname as Naruto. I realize it's unusual, but other people can have the same name as Master. Gildarts was unconcerned about the situation. That boy had silver hair and he was a swordsman. Gildarts was stunned when Makarov mentioned those facts, and a picture flashed across his head. The illustration depicted a man in knight's armor. Hello, Gil? How about a fight with me? We haven't had one in a long time. Apart from the grin on his face, the man's face could not be seen. Listen to the blaze blue altar memory ost under heavenly destruction. Are you saying there's a chance Riku will return? Gildarts refused to believe it. You're pitiful. I'll kill you and everyone you care about the next time we meet, Gil. I'll go after Cornelia first, then Fairy Tale. As the young Gildarts stood in front of the injured Minato and Kushina, Riku was encircled by fire. And now you, my own sister, have betrayed me. Your very own brother. As Gildarts' crush augmented fist met with Riku's black figure, an explosion erupted. End of Ost. We must consider it as a possibility. He may have been your best friend and rival at one point, but if he has turned against us, you are the only one in Fairy Tale who can fight him. Gildarts, can I rely on you? Gildarts regained control. No matter what we were like in the past, if Riku dares to harm Fairy Tale, I promise to defeat him. Gildarts then returned the conversation to Silva. We still don't know what Silva's relationship is with Riku, so talking to him and getting answers is our best bet. Where has he gone? He escaped thanks to Itachi Uchiha's assistance. Makarov let out a sigh. They both met Itachi as children and realized they couldn't do anything to find Riku. Oh my god. I'm thirsty. Makarov agreed as they returned to the bar to clear their brains. Edalus, unknown alley. Does the king want us to protect his personal library? Why? I mean, it's just a bunch of books that he hasn't used in a long time. Two guards had no idea they were being followed until the figure knocked them out and grabbed their keys. King's study. At a later date, soldiers with their captain stood guard outside their superior's office. It was a vast library study that could accommodate up to 100 individuals. The captain stepped outside and told his soldiers to keep an eye out for intruders. As if anyone would come here, and why would they? I assure you, the king is paranoid. One of the guards approached another, who concurred with his colleague. None of the guards were aware that they were being watched by a predator. Suddenly, one of the volumes on the desk tumbled to the floor. What? The guards were on high alert until one of them got a closer look and said it was a rat, causing the others to moan in disgust. As soon as they turned aside, a black figure from above appeared and drew the same guard up with him. A fricking raw. The figure pushed another guard into the darkness. The creature then appeared behind 2 more guards and knocked them down, dragging their bodies into the shadows. They were all taken out one by one. Alright, folks, it's time to. Where has everyone gone? When the captain returned, he discovered that none of his guys were in the lab and pulled out his weapon. He hadn't expected the figure to leap in front of him, kicking the weapon out of the captain's hands and then performing a takedown. Gah! The captain's hand was stomped on, causing him to cry in anguish. Why you are Knight Jaeger. He was pulled by his collar and smashed against the wall, not hard enough to break him, but hard enough to harm him. He was dressed in a crimson and black vest, black trousers and boots, red armbands, and black forearm-length fingerless gloves. He had a red and black hood over his head and black goggles over his eyes, and he had a few pouched around his waist. He shoved the captain to the ground and punched him in the head, knocking him unconscious. This is the king's study, says the narrator. It should have information on what's producing the magical rifts I've seen multiple times. The stranger looked about before picking up the king's journal. Perhaps this would assist shed some light. The anima is a device used to build interdimensional portals that takes anything from Earth and changes it to Lacerma, which holds a great deal of magical power. Soils, air, and even humans. The monarch is stealing magic from another realm. I'd heard rumors, but this proves it. Knight Jaeger flicked through the pages. It appears that the kingdom is deteriorating. If I allow their intentions to be carried out, innocent people will perish. On my watch, no way. He stowed the journal in one of his pouches and made his way out, taking care not to run into any guards this time. 1 hour later, with the king in the throne room, Knight Jaeger broke into the library and stole the king's journal. Biro, an elderly man with the air of a mad scientist, yelled at his companions. He was accompanied by 2 royal captains, Hughes, a purple-haired male teenager, and Sugarboy, a pink-armored knight. Knight Jaeger has been a thorn in the kingdom's side since the law was passed to abolish those wizard guilds. He assisted the wizards from the ancient guilds before they disbanded. Sugarboy was solemn, even shuddering. And I don't want to meet him because you said he threatened to break every bone in your body. Hugh turned to face Biro, who trembled at the thought. He is a frightening individual. His statement struck a nerve in Biro. No, he wasn't frightening, he was downright terrifying. In fact, I was afraid he was going to kill me right then and there. Biro was terrified, and his demeanor did not make the other 2 feel any better. Well, then, I'm glad we have the fairy hunter on our side. Sugarboy was certain that their most powerful captain was more than capable of dealing with the vigilante roaming their lovely land. I hope, Sugarboy said to himself, hoping to persuade himself more than anybody else. Unknown Edalus location. Those pitiful fairies fled once more. It's a shame, because I really wanted to kill Laxus. The individual was a captain in the royal army, which was likewise regarded as the toughest and most brutal in the world. A familiar face in the fairy hunter. The woman was Urza, but not Urza Scarlet, but Urza Nightwalker. You enjoy your work far too much. Nightwalker turned to see a cat similar to Carla and Happy. The difference, though, was that this cat was the size of a human, and a hefty one at that. Panther Lily is a higher-ranking royal army commander. I received orders from His Majesty, and we are returning to the palace. To be continued.
That's it for this podcast. Thanks for listening to this video. If you did enjoy this part of the story, like, share, and subscribe for more. And thank you all for helping support, and have a great day.